Hello, I'm Randy McClure. Welcome to the latest supply chain tech brief.
So let's talk about one of the biggest, most frustrating roadblocks in the entire digital transformation of the supply chain. We're talking about data interoperability, or to put it simply, why on earth can't all of our systems just talk to each other? Let's dive in and see if we can find a clear path out of all that data chaos. I mean, this quote just nails it, right? It gets right to the heart of the problem. If you're in the industry, you know this feeling. We're promised all this amazing tech, big data, AI, but the day-to-day reality, it's often just a tangled mess of systems that absolutely refuse to play nice with each other. So let's make this personal for a second. Think about your own company. Are you pouring tons of money into shiny new technologies only to find out that the data they produce just gets locked up, creating yet another silo? If you're nodding your head right now, well, you're definitely in the right place. All right, first up, let's really unpack what we're calling the data nightmare. We need to get to the bottom of why our systems aren't communicating. Fragmented, siloed, ambiguous. These three words, they pretty much sum up the state of most supply chain data today, don't they? It's broken into a million pieces, it's locked away in different departments, and honestly, a lot of the time, its meaning is totally unclear. And that's not just inefficient, it's a recipe for some really costly mistakes. And here's what happens because of that. When your data is trapped, you lose all visibility. Forget about end-to-end. Collaboration, it just grinds to a halt. All those precious insights that could save you millions, they're buried. And maybe the most painful part, the return on all those expensive tech investments you made, it just never shows up. Okay, but it's not all doom and gloom. There is a structured way out of this nightmare. So now let's walk through a pretty straightforward three-part framework that can give us a real path to clarity. So here they are, the three essential ingredients for real, actual interoperability. First, you've got to have the channels to connect everything. Second, and this is a big one, you need a common language. And third, you have to be able to trust everyone and everything in the system. Let's break each one down. We're going to start at the very foundation, layer one, the connection. This is all about the technical plumbing. The stuff that lets data actually move from one place to another. So data level interoperability, it's really just the fundamental ability to get data from point A to point B. Think of it like the pipes and wires in your house. It's the absolute basic infrastructure. Without this, nothing else can even begin to happen. Now, the good news is most companies have this layer more or less figured out. You're probably already using things like APIs or ETL processes or cloud tools to shuffle data around. But, and this is a huge but, just because the pipes are connected doesn't mean the water flowing through them is drinkable. It doesn't mean the data is understandable. And that brings us to layer two, the meaning. As you can see from the subtitle here, this is it. This is the biggest challenge. This is where most digital supply chain projects get completely stuck. This quote just lays it out perfectly. This isn't about the bits and the bytes anymore. It's about a shared business interpretation. So if my system sends a field called date, does your system know if that's a ship date, a delivery date, or the date an order was created? If you don't have that shared meaning, the data is completely useless. The European Commission put it so simply, it's brilliant. Semantic interoperability is just ensuring what is sent is what is understood. It's about creating a common dictionary, a common language, so that our data doesn't get lost in translation between systems. And this right here, this is a crucial point. For decades, we've treated this like it's an IT problem. But look at this comparison. IT can build the pipes, sure, but they can't and they shouldn't define the language that flows through them. That is a business problem. Honestly, the single biggest mistake companies make is kicking this can down the road to the IT department. This needs to be a strategic CEO level decision. So what do you actually do about it? Well, the source material lays out four key actions for business leaders. First, you've got to shift your mindset. Data is a core strategic asset, not just some tech byproduct. Second, don't reinvent the wheel. Partner with industry groups to adopt common standards. Third, stop creating new silos by using proprietary interfaces that lock you in. And fourth, start using new tools like AI to help these data standards evolve and get better faster. Okay, so we've got the connection, we've figured out the meaning. The final piece of this whole puzzle is layer three, the trust. Because in today's hyper-connected, sprawling world, you absolutely have to know who you're talking to. I mean, listen to this quote. A sprawling web of systems, AI agents, and IoT devices. That's not an exaggeration. That's the modern supply chain. It's a minefield out there, and securing it isn't just a nice to have, it's an absolute necessity. And the key technology that makes this trust possible is something called digital identity. The easiest way to think about it is like a verified digital passport for every single system, every device, every partner, every AI agent in your network. It gives you bulletproof confidence that every actor in your ecosystem is who or what it claims to be. The need for this has just exploded. In the old days, you had a few connections. A shared password and maybe a phone call between IT guys was good enough. Today, with an astronomical number of automated connections and constant cyber threats, that's just unthinkable. The future demands automated, constant verification for every single interaction. As we wrap up, if there's just one thing you take away from this whole explainer, please let it be this. True interoperability is not a project you can just hand off to your tech team. It is a strategic, business led mission that is enabled by technology. So, there you have it, your path from chaos to clarity. It starts with the connection, then you have to tackle the meaning, and finally, you wrap the whole thing in trust to make it secure. And that really leaves us with one final critical question. Connecting systems, that's the easy part these days. The real question you have to ask is, are they truly communicating? Because if they're not, you don't really have a digital supply chain, you just have a much more expensive version of the same old chaos.
Hello, this is Raina McClure from SC Tech Insights. Thank you for listening. For more on this topic, click the article link below or go to www.sctechinsights.com for the latest insights on supply chain technology. Thank you and see you next time.